Hello, hello Aquarius. Welcome to your February 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Aquarius. And I am just going to pull this truth bomb card, and I want to let you know that this month's readings are going to be way different than anything I've ever done before, so I hope you enjoy it. And then I will go back to normal after February. But for now, I have a whole bunch of decks in front of me, Oracle, Tarot, all of them, basically. And so I'm just going to go through and pick whatever it is that I think is screaming your name. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pick 10 cards. They're not structured in any way, shape, or form. And then I'll be reading that way and pull things that supplement the reading as we go along. I know this is way different, but I just wasn't feeling inspired by regular structured spreads. So we're going to do it this way this month and see how it goes. Okay, so let's go ahead, take a deep breath into the diaphragm. If anything needs to come up today, just go ahead and set your intention for the information or the answers that you're looking for. And let's get started with this truth bomb. First thing, take up space. Have you found yourself shrinking around other people, circumstances, situations? Have you felt like you've needed to make yourself smaller or make room for other people? And while I understand that Aquarians are really notorious for making space for a lot of people, which is one of the things that I adore about you, it's also okay for you to step up a little bit more and expand a little bit more. So just be open to evaluating where you are with this, because there's some of it that might be holding you back a little bit. So just take inventory of it. Okay, now let's see what's coming up for you this month. Okay, we have the Empress first thing, so divine femininity coming up really strong. So this is probably going to be a month where you're focusing on receiving, unless we have the Emperor pop up. And then we have the Queen of Cups, still looking super feminine. I'm gonna get more in detail about what's going on. I just want to pull a few of them first and see what's going on. Then we have the Five of Cups. Okay, so it's interesting because you've got some moodiness coming through with all of this. Like this seems like you're exercising a really frail muscle when it comes to permission to receive, permission to take up space. And then you have the Five of Cups right here, which is really pushing you to reorient what you're focusing on. And this is traditionally like the disappointment card, but in this deck it looks like kind of getting yourself into a bind just by where your attention is. So if you have one obstacle, it might feel like you're drowning, even though it's just about putting one foot in front of the other. So this is kind of like the it looks worse than it is card. And so we're gonna see how this plays out. Let's keep going. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so you have to start fresh with this. There's a little bit of purging energy here, and then an initiation card right after it. So I'm getting that you're making space if you're willing to look outside of what's sitting right in front of you. Because a lot of the time, in order to break up some of the frustration or tunnel vision or roadblocks that you might be experiencing, you have to either implement something new, try a new approach, think about things differently, instigate something. And then we also have the Knight of Pentacles. This is kind of, okay, this is really getting interesting. Okay, and then we have Six of Cups. All the cups in this reading. And then we have the Hanged Man. Sorry, I'm just getting the full picture, which is why I'm not stopping for each one of these cards right now. We have the High Priestess. Okay, it's all tied to consistency. A large part of this for the good and the bad, right? So whichever end of the spectrum, maybe you're doing things really, really well this month, and maybe it gets a little bit sticky and you're able to kind of weasel your way out of that situation, out of that roadblock, and find yourself in a more stable space and area. So that could be one of the things where the Empress and the Queen of Cups are really, really gifted at taking care of themselves and being open to receiving things. So even if that's from a spiritual perspective, or maybe more of a, if you're dealing with a lot of work stuff right now or romantic situations, it's all about receiving. How are you doing that? Maybe there's some frustration in that. Maybe you're more on the side of, I want to go get it. And so you're being pushed to not be so forceful. And as this kind of, you're getting called to reevaluate the way you're doing things through all of this and find new solutions, it's like the consistency is what helps it solidify. Because you can see this card is totally grayed out. And that's where this is like, okay, it's becoming really, really concrete and really stable, but you have to be consistent. That's what the Hanged Man is all about. And then the High Priestess is pushing more of that feminine energy, like, yes, you need to depend on divine source, God, the universe, whatever you like to work with, a little bit more. And that's something that I think is really going to come in handy. It looks like it's going to help stabilize whatever it is that you're working towards, whatever it is you have going on. There's a lot of stability here with the High Priestess. It's, for some reason, the gray cards, the gray color is communicating consistency, stability, like everything is getting grounded out. This is more of a, whereas this is a little bit more moody with the blues and everything. So just know that the Hanged Man, it's going to go one of two ways. So maybe you have a lot of consistent habits that are harming you, and maybe you have a lot of consistent habits that are really helping to support you at this time. So just think about where you are on that spectrum. I'll get to the Six of Cups, just bear with me. Now, then we have the Hierophant. Again, structure is the secret for you this month. And I'm not just saying that because I have a Virgo moon. It really does look like the more grounded you can be, the easier this is going to get. And then I'm going to pull one more for Ace of Cups. There you go. So bringing it back full circle, it's kind of like you can find, it's so interesting. You're going to find that self-discipline is what helps you heal. Like that is the very thing that's missing for you. So these are really connected. I think that's probably why I waited. But the Six of Cups is about like that childlike naivete, not focusing on anything that is like a biased and jaded belief system, but instead kind of cracking that open and looking at, before you had all these life experiences, what was happening for you as a child? What did you believe as a child? Were you really open-minded? Did you not have any negative impressions? Like kind of go back to that time where you weren't fully shaped. And there's information for you in that. Because it's one of the problems with adulthood is that because you've already had so many experiences, a lot of the time people struggle to see that anything else is possible other than what they've already experienced. So it causes people to feel punished, doomed, that they're unable to solve something, or they're just not chosen, or they can't adjust anything in their life. And that's simply not true. It's just that that is how you were shaped with whatever it is. Maybe for you it's money or romance or whatever it is. You have to go backwards a little bit. Don't focus on your old story. Just focus on where was the belief system born and how can you put it on a new track, but you have to gather new data. And so that's what this month is really about. It's kind of like you have to experience this stickiness right here, and you have to feel into the uncertainty and the discomfort in order to implement new strategies and try something new. So that's why this is screaming, you want to be consistent. And the discipline thing that I was mentioning, that's definitely from the Hierophant and the Knight of Pentacles. All of these cards right here. And the reason why that the discipline element of this is so important is because you're really going to be able to prove to yourself that you're worthy through consistent action. And so we have the Empress, which kicked this whole thing off, and it really is about the mother, divine feminine, being nurtured, being loved. That's a big part of this, and that's also what you're helping yourself work through no matter what your situation is. Compassion is where you want to lead, and this doesn't mean you just ignore bad behavior and say, well, that's how I was raised, so I'm not responsible for myself. That's not what that means. It's just that your behavior and your emotions make sense. There's no reason, at least I've never had a client who didn't make sense. And so the more you can have compassion with the younger version of yourself and be willing to commit to yourself as the older version of yourself, you're going to see things unfold in a way where you can reparent yourself and you can relearn. That's all you're doing, is remembering the truth of how things work, not remember it, or not kind of recreate old traumas over and over, because that's what people do. Okay, if you don't learn the first time, you're going to experience the trauma again. You're going to experience the pattern again, and until you learn and figure it out, it's just going to happen over and over again until you do something different. And I know that seems really dark, but the point is that it is changeable. It's malleable. Your brain and your beliefs are totally plastic. And so that's what's happening this month. You have to adjust them so that you stop the cycles and stop the patterns. But it's not going to happen without your involvement, without your dedication, without your consistency, without you being willing to put in the work and initiate. And maybe for you, if this month you're like, oh my God, that's way too much for February, then just focusing on noticing. Just notice the belief systems that you have. Notice the patterns that are coming up if you may have been ignoring them. I mean, just consider these things as you can start at step one, or maybe you're already halfway down this road. But at the end, I mean, the Ace of Cups is the self-love or the new love card. So whether that is, like, if you're healing partnership stuff, it's like, this is a month of work so that you can get here. But you have to be able to fill your cup first. That's a necessary condition for a healthy relationship. And then underneath, I never do this, but I'm going to do it for these readings. We have the Strength card. Okay, so it's like, you can do it. I am just getting that maybe you need some encouragement. Like maybe you're just not feeling like you're capable this month, or like you're not strong enough. But I mean, it's a big world with a lot of miracles happening each and every day. And I mean, there's no reason why in this entire planet the problems that you're dealing with don't have a solution or can't be resolved. Okay, because if you do have any belief in anything higher than yourself, any type of God or universe, anything bigger, then really your problems are peanuts. And I'm saying that not in order to invalidate them, but really to show you that there are so many ways that they can be fixed in this lifetime. Like you're not stuck, because you can trust, that's what the High Priestess wants you to remember, that something bigger can help you out. It can help you solve these problems, no matter how painful they are, no matter how much you have to relearn, no matter how much pain you've experienced or how difficult the pattern is, you're still able to repair it. There's no reason why you can't. Okay, so that is... it's a lot. It's a lot. February is big for you. Happy birthday. Okay, let's go ahead. I have a few other decks I want to use, but we're just going to start with the Sovereign Oracle. Alignment. Explore energy first, matter will follow. Find the spine, yours or the one in the situation. Address the source and everything will fall into place. Okay, so I like this card because it's, remember that, and this is also kind of why when you zoom out big enough, things are no longer that big of a deal. It's when you zoom in, like right here with the Five of Cups, if you focus in on something really, really small, then it's gonna cause you to spin out into catastrophic thinking, right? If you think small enough. But if you zoom out and you recognize that what you're dealing with is just energy, right? It's just straight up energy. It doesn't matter if it's a new house. It doesn't matter if it's a partner. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, more money or the right job. It's energetic. So when you're building it first and you're feeling into the energy of it first, whether that, and that can also be your healing. It can also be a support person. It can be something like that as well. You feel into the energy first, and then it will materialize in Earth time. But it takes a while for them to connect, right? You're building a blueprint first. You're feeling into the energy of it, and then it materializes. So that's essentially manifestation. So that's what I'm getting for you here. Let's pull another one. Sovereignty. Be the ruler of your domain, wear your crown with pride, you've earned it, stand in your power and your inherent deservingness. That's an important one. I'm going to put that over by the Empress because that absolutely fits with your inherent deservingness. I like to remind people of this, especially if you're struggling with something. If you have an earth body, if you're on the planet, if you're here and now, that's all that's required. You deserve everything that you desire. And the second half of that is that it's also within reach. So don't forget that the things that you want are within reach. If you are sitting there right now telling yourself that it's not within reach, if that is what you believe, that is what you will get. Bottom line. Bottom line. Like there's no other answer. Like if that's where you're starting from and you don't believe it, then you are correct. You will not receive it. You will not get it. So that's, just don't forget your own power here. I like to remind people of that. You really are in the driver's seat with all of this. So please do not underestimate your own power in this situation. I feel like we need a miracle card. I begin my day with love. And what would this look like for you? I'm just inviting you to ask yourself that question. What does beginning your day with love? Is it a routine? Because I'm getting that structure. One of like my favorite, I follow quite a few psychologists online. And one of my favorites actually talked about how you heal self-betrayal is through discipline. It's through making a commitment to do something each and every day, even if it's really, really itty bitty, like super insignificant. And that is, how you can actually heal self-betrayal. And there's another psychologist that I absolutely adore his work, and he talks about how if you take on more responsibility, if you commit to more things, you can actually heal a lot within yourself. And so that's what this month is all about. Adding more structure, taking on more responsibility for yourself, and to do this healing around receiving and your inherent worthiness. And so how are you going to start your day with loving yourself? Yourself. This is all for you. And the more you are tuned in to loving yourself, the easier things are going to get, but this is a muscle. Maybe you've been on this self-love track for a long time and you're like, oh yeah, I totally know what she's talking about. I totally get that. And maybe for you, you're not. Maybe you just got here. And so for you, this might be really hard to get the ball rolling in the beginning. But I promise you, no matter what the case is, you're gonna get there. So just believe in yourself a little bit more. Take good care of yourself this month. And things will improve. Let's pull a botanical card. Dream. This is playing off of the alignment card quite a bit. So the dream card is just asking you to visualize it, create it mentally. The High Priestess is also encouraging this as well. Because if you can visualize it, if you can see it, that means it really is something that you can create in this lifetime. So don't forget, it's not beyond the realm of possibility by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. It is not at all. But you have to start with, what are you seeing for yourself, and what are you really acting on here? Okay, so start with vision. Start with vision. That's like you have to. Start with acknowledgement, start with paying attention to how you feel and what you think and how you're proceeding in these situations. And then you're going to find that answers are going to come the more you're tuning in. All right, let's do a 3-card pick. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask it now. If you just want some advice, you can ask that as well, or just set your intention for that. And then I'll be pulling a birthday card for you guys at the very end. So stay tuned. Don't click off early because I have an extra card for you because it's your birthday month. Okay, let's do this. Now you can, I don't care if you just ask yourself, okay, is it 1, 2, or 3? You can do it like that, or you can look and see where are your eyes sticking. That works too. You can pick as few or as many cards as you want. First thing, oh, these are all going to be upside down, but ignore that. Okay, 6 of Candles. This is the victory card. I really like this. Having a lot of reasons to celebrate this month, or with whatever situation you're asking about. It can also be that if you're not already at the point where the manifestation has come in, or you necessarily have a reason to celebrate, practice gratitude for the thing anyway. And you really need to just show gratitude for the manifestation and celebrate your small wins now. There's no reason to wait or put this on the back burner. Do it now. Okay, and then card number 2, we have the 4 of Candles. I love this card. I'm getting something very similar as far as like the celebration piece is really important. Like getting together with friends. Step away from being hard on yourself as often as you can and just give yourself a reason to kind of enjoy what you have going for yourself at this time. That's going to be really important. It's going to help loosen things up and get the ball rolling. But also focus on creating a nice space at home for yourself, however you can make that possible. Then I have the Awakening card. I believe this is Judgment in the normal deck. I can't remember. I think, okay, now this is starting to make sense. There's a little bit of like a shielding energy of this card because, you know, it's the singular person in this bubble. Focus on yourself. You have to focus on you. Focus on what you're doing, the decisions that you're making. Try not to get too much input from other people. I'm getting that you kind of want to insulate yourself from too many people hanging out, giving you lots of feedback. That's not necessarily going to work for you this month. So or for the situation you're asking about. So I strongly recommend that you kind of boil down either the people that you ask for insight from to a select couple people, and you don't put too much emphasis on external opinions. It's not going to be a good move. Just make sure you're taking good care of yourself and putting yourself first. That's really, really important right now. Okay, now the birthday card for you. Happy birthday, Aquarius, if you're having a birthday this month. And even if it's not your birthday month, you can still use this card for whatever it is that you need. And Knight of Torches. So you have the energy, right? The energy is there, the motivation is there, the clarity is there. That's what the Knight of Torches is all about. It's just about pursuing. It's about taking aligned action. That's the other piece of this. But I'm getting that, you know, mapping things out for yourself, getting clear on what it is that you're needing, wanting, desiring, and then putting a plan in place. It seems like you can't be frivolous this month. And so you really have to focus and align your energy and pour it into the things that you want to grow. It's not negotiable this month. If your energy is scattered, like let's say you blow off all of this information and you're like, yeah, whatever. Okay, you put your energy in all these different pots and it's going to have a really hard time nourishing and growing because you're not consistent, you're not enforcing discipline on it, and it's just, you're not going to see the fruits of your labor. It's just going to be scattered. And so the Knight of Torches or the Knight of Rods is really good at putting all of his energy into the very thing that he wants to create. And that's what you can do this month. It needs to be something that feels good to you. Okay, so that is all that I have for you, Aquarius. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, if you are interested in relationship readings, they are available on Patreon. The February readings will come out on the 1st, so I have sign-specific readings just like this. They're really big readings, and you can check that out. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, as you guys know, if you're new to my channel, hello, and thank you for subscribing. But I am an intuitive counselor, so I'm just a good old psychic who does cold readings. So if you're interested in that, you can check out all my services. I do tarot spreads as well, but whatever it is that you're looking for, I would love to work with you. And until next time, have a beautiful February. Happy birthday, Aquarius, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.